As a person with a very deep voice, I'm hired all the time for advertising campaigns. But a deep voice doesn't sell B2B, and advertising on the wrong platform doesn't sell B2B either. That's why if you're a B2B marketer, you should use LinkedIn ads. LinkedIn has the targeting capabilities to help you reach the world's largest professional audience. That's right, over 70 million decision makers all in one place. All the big wigs, then medium wigs, also small wigs who are on the path to becoming big wigs. Okay, that's enough about wigs. LinkedIn ads allows you to focus on getting your B2B message to the right people. So, does that mean you should use ads on LinkedIn instead of hiring me, the man with the deepest voice in the world? Yes. Yes, it does. Get started today and see why LinkedIn is the place to be to be. We'll even give you a $100 credit on your next campaign. Go to linkedin.com/MPN to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/MPN. Terms and conditions apply.
Entrepreneurs Enigma is a podcast for the ups and downs of entrepreneurship. So the wins and the fails that we all face being entrepreneurs, how we learn from adversity. Every week I talk to a different entrepreneur with a story to tell. I'm Seth Goldstein. Come with me on the journey. This is Entrepreneurs Enigma. Let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of the Entrepreneurs Enigma podcast. I am your host, as always, Seth. Today I have Federico Romallo. Hopefully I said that correctly. If not, he'll correct me, I'm sure. He is of Density Labs. He is in Guadalajara, Mexico. Man, this is a lot of hard words to say this morning. Anyhow, he helps U.S. companies with nearshore help and also helps the local community in Guadalajara who are very tech savvy and want to get into business with doing so. He's a serial entrepreneur. He has 20 plus years of extensive experience in software engineering. He's worked for Microsoft. He's done a lot of stuff in his young age. So we're going to bring Federico in here right now. How's it going, buddy? How you doing?
Hello, Seth. Thank you for having me.
Of course. How hot is it down in Mexico today? Really hot and steamy?
It's beautiful.
Oh, it's beautiful. That's good. That's a start. Yeah. Last time we talked, it was like burning up down there.
It's like California weather all the time. But you have all the weathers all around. So mountains, beach, you name it. And the best tequila in the world.
Oh, the only true tequila. Of course, you said mezcal is better, though.
Yes, mezcal is better. Yes.
Personal opinion.
It's the moonshine Mexican version. Yes.
I like that. I like that. So you worked for Microsoft back in the day.
Yes.
And then you moved on into where are you originally from?
So I'm an Argentinian living in Mexico.
Yes. Argentinian living in Mexico. So where did you grow up in Argentina?
So I grew up in Buenos Aires, next to Buenos Aires, outside of the Buenos Aires city. And I was hired by Microsoft when I was 16. So they basically built a position for me. So when I look around, there were no other candidates.
Oh my God. I mean, you were 16 too. That's really young. You're just still in high school.
Yes. Actually,
how'd that happen? I mean, were you like deep into coding and computers back then? Or like how did they find you?
So there was a program called the Founder Institute has a program for teens where they basically build startups, right? So most of the startups are about, selling jam and things like that, right?
Yeah.
This event was sponsored by Microsoft, so a lot of mentors were from Microsoft. So they
scouted you.
Yes. So from 400 people, they chose 60. They built two companies out of 30, two companies of 30 people, and we built the first technology company in the history of that program, right?
Woo! That's awesome.
So we built something similar to eBay back in 1999, right? So it was an interesting journey because we learned to code, we learned to build software, and eventually I ended up leading the technical team, right? The company was was the highest valuation of the company because they wanted to give us $70,000 for the company.
But this is coming. Let's keep this in mind. This is coming from Founders Institute, like a hackathon kind of thing, like a group effort. So $70,000 from something that's a bunch of high schoolers.
Yeah,
learning how to do stuff as they go is pretty impressive.
15 weeks, and we build a company
with a $70,000 evaluation. That's pretty impressive. Yeah.
And they wanted to hire all the technical team. But then, the parents got in, and then, it became messy. And then the bubble burst, the internet bubble burst.
Oh, no. Right? Yeah.
And then,
we're going to take a quick break, hear from our sponsors, and get right back to the show.
As a person with a very deep voice, I'm hired all the time for advertising campaigns. But a deep voice doesn't sell B2B, and advertising on the wrong platform doesn't sell B2B either. That's why if you're a B2B marketer, you should use LinkedIn ads. LinkedIn has the targeting capabilities to help you reach the world's largest professional audience. That's right, over 70 million decision makers all in one place. All the big wigs, then medium wigs, also small wigs who are on the path to becoming big wigs. Okay, that's enough about wigs. LinkedIn ads allows you to focus on getting your B2B message to the right people. So, does that mean you should use ads on LinkedIn instead of hiring me, the man with the deepest voice in the world? Yes. Yes, it does. Get started today and see why LinkedIn is the place to be to be. We'll even give you a $100 credit on your next campaign. Go to linkedin.com/MPN to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/MPN. Terms and conditions apply.
It was chaotic, but the incubator basically pulled out.
Yeah.
And then Microsoft reached out to me and say, "Hey, would you be interested in working with us?"
Ooh,
so from 400 people, they chose me.
Wow, everybody. You're the only one they took?
Sorry?
You're the only one they took?
Yes.
Wow, that's an honor. That's flattering, to say the least.
That is flattering, yes. And when I saw that there were no other candidates, I realized, okay, they open up a position just for me, right?
That's even more flattering. That's pretty awesome. Yeah. Yes. So you did that for a while. And then after that, did you immediately jump into entrepreneurship, or was there some other stuff between then and your entrepreneurial journey?
So after that, I was a Microsoft boy, as I would call myself, right? I launched Microsoft Office. I did, I talk in front of thousands of people. Wow. I was working with the enterprise. So I was working with the biggest banks. And basically, they will be pulling me out to, they will say, hey, we want Federico for a few days, right? So I will go to talk to the cream of the cream of the of the engineering team on one bank or another, or corporations.
Wow.
And, they will be saying, please teach us, right? So it was fun, right? And so after that, I went 180 degrees. So I said, you know what? I have to learn about Linux, open source, and all that world, right? And then I shifted towards. It took me a lot of time because I haven't zero experience with Linux.
Yeah.
It took me at least 1 month to be able to boot a computer.
When Linux is tough,
yeah, back when you had to compile the kernel, basically, right?
You see, you did it from the ground up. I mean, you just install Ubuntu and go with it. You built the Linux kernel,
right. Then eventually Ubuntu was easier, right?
Much easier.
Yes. So then I started working on Ruby on Rails, and the issue was that the commute from where I was living to the city was longer and longer, right? Because of traffic, people blocking the streets for.
Were you still in Argentina at this time, or were you up in Seattle?
I was in Argentina. So what happened is that there was some civil political instability, and basically they would coordinate kind of riots to block the city entrance. So
that made the commute a little tough.
Yes. So
and there was no Waze back
commute.
then either, so it couldn't reroute you.
Yeah, I mean, eventually you're stuck on traffic and there's nothing you can do, right?
You just sit there.
Yes. So I said I don't want to do this commute anymore. So I kind of reinvented myself as a remote worker. I started working from home, right? And I moved to open source technologies, and I started working with American startups on Ruby on Rails back in 2003.
Oh wow!
It was the new technology at that time. So I work on multiple projects, one more interesting than the other, right? So I will be taking technical leadership roles and things like that, right?
Oh wow!
So
all
it was
freelance,
interesting,
right? Or freelance,
yes.
or freelancing. So that's the way to go. Yeah.
And then one of these companies invited me to go to Mexico. Would you like to go to Mexico and train new folks? And it was yes, sure.
To hear that.
Yeah, I've met my wife in Mexico, so then I decided to stay. Right.
That's awesome.
So that's how kind of got into Mexico, right?
So you got in Mexico, and you decided to stay for the tequila, the mezcal, the family, all that good stuff, and the job.
Yes, and the job. Yes,
and the job.
So then I started doing this. I founded my company back in 2016, and we do near shore staff augmentation. I call it sprinkled with consulting.
Love it.
Where I consult my clients on how to improve their software development process. I think I'm the only one that says, do not hire more people. Let's focus on improving the process.
Exactly. Right? And so you bring people in from the area to work on these projects, to work on dedicated teams, right?
Yeah, I mean, it all started with me personally recommending people that I personally know, right?
Yeah.
Too many personal, but yeah, you get the idea, right? But it's people that I can vouch for, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's very important. Yeah.
Yeah. And then now I shifted towards building a recruiting process, screening process. So now we can screen the best 2% of software engineers.
Ooh.
And basically, we aim to one shot, one kill. So we present a candidate to client, and usually it takes 2 interviews. They need to interview 2 candidates. Sometimes it's personal preference. Sometimes they don't make a click, right?
You have to click. It has to be the culture fit and all that stuff. Yeah.
A lot of stuff, yes. And then we have clients that trust us enough where they basically say, I trust you, Federico, so go ahead, move forward with the hire. I trust you're going to find the right people for us.
So do they hire them in-house on their teams, or do you manage or do you manage the relationship with the end client?
We hire them as employees in Mexico.
Okay,
we have a Mexican company. We also can do employer of record.
Okay.
And then we do all the management locally. We have an overbuilt IP and legal protection.
Yeah, you have to, absolutely. It has to be overbuilt. Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm a prepper on my free time, so I kind of overbuild those type of things.
Absolutely, you have to. If you don't, you're going to get stuck somewhere.
Yes, and we never had any, IP leaks or anything like that. So
that's good. I'm glad to hear that. So you've done the corporate thing. Literally, Microsoft made a position for you, and then you've done the freelance and you've done your own business a few times. Now, what is the best thing about being an entrepreneur versus being an intrapreneur?
Being an intrapreneur, you always have this safety net.
Yeah.
Right. So being an entrepreneur is like this, doing acrobatics in the air, right?
Yeah.
With no net, right?
Yeah.
So you really need to have balls of steel to do that, right?
I love it. Yeah. And which do you prefer? I mean, obviously you're still doing the entrepreneur stuff, but do you ever miss being part of a bigger company?
Sometimes, but Not really. I mean, the benefit, I think, is the freedom that it gives you. With corporate, there's a lot of red tape that you have to go through, right? So yeah, it's not good, right? But I always push the envelope. So I always try to go out and beyond of my role, right? I have a funny story about that. I was at the Microsoft office, and there was a light bulb failing, right? So then I go up on the desk and I start fixing the light bulb, right?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, it's annoying when it's failing.
Until a manager show up, he saw me on the hall, and he was saying like, "What are you doing?" Well, there's a problem. I'm fixing it, right? And he was like, "No, you should not do that. It's not your role." And we have a technician, a building maintenance guy that can do that, right? And it was, okay, I'll follow the procedure, right? Which kind of makes sense on liability, right? But I'm that guy, right?
You're that guy. You're that guy who's like, I can just fix it. I'm just going to do it. Exactly.
Yes.
So, that's wild.
So now with density, we were able to have this freedom. I would say I've been able to have this freedom because now we have we were able to build a great team, right?
Yeah.
So I think now going to the corporate world would be difficult for me.
Yeah, they don't want to hire you now. It's just set in your ways.
Once you taste that freedom.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So what's on the flip side? What keeps you up at night being an entrepreneur? What makes you worry, and what's the scary thing about being an entrepreneur?
So what keeps me up at night is I am concerned about my employees and my interns.
Yeah.
There are two parts of that: happiness and growth.
Yeah.
So the happiness, we kind of figured it out. People are happy overall. Good. So that's good. We were awarded best place to code last year, and that's based on
congratulations.
Thank you. That's based on the people vote. I had an employee. He's almost 3 years with us now, and he said, "Everything you promised me on your vision, when I started with you, you delivered." So
wow.
What I said is, I want to change people's life, right? And then he said to me, "You changed my life," right?
That's what a rewarding statement. That's awesome.
Yes. And then all the sacrifice that an entrepreneur makes, it kind of pays off when they say that.
Right? Absolutely, it's fantastic.
And then on the growth side, as a nearshore outsourcing team, I push the envelope, right? I go above and beyond, right? So we do the coding, but I try to build social contracts with the product owners. I try to improve their software development process. And then we train the engineers, and they are ambitious and they want to grow, right? So
it's great. Yeah.
So that's what keeps me right now awake at night, because because I'm thinking, what can I do to provide the growth that software engineers need and deserve, and they earn, right? So I push the envelope with my clients to do more, right? And then we get to a point where we get to leadership positions or managerial responsibilities level, right? And then that's where usually they push back. So it takes a lot of convincing to say, please let us try, let us give us the opportunity, right?
Exactly.
And we can show you, right? And when they give us the opportunity, we show, we go above, we exceed the expectations, and then they love it, right? But it takes
happy client.
It takes a lot of convincing. Yeah.
Oh, it always does. Absolutely. So here's a question for you: what is the most important thing to carry with you all the time?
Oh, I carry a flashlight.
Really?
Yeah, 4,000 lumen flashlight. I carry my phone, and then it depends on the situation because when I'm in the city, it's different. But I'm out on the field.
Yeah.
So I tend to.
You never know when you need a flashlight.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I when I know that I'm going to go on the road, I carry a pocket knife, and I carry lots of water and lots of food.
It's just in case, because Mexico is a big country.
Yeah, I mean, I usually go off road.
So, okay, it's your side hustle. Yeah, it's your fun stuff.
Yes, I got stuck in the middle of nowhere for 5 days.
Oh no!
So the extra water and food allow me to. Yeah. So,
well, that's definitely very important to carry with you all the time. Absolutely. So, Federico, where can people find you online? DensityLabs.io is the site, and your main watering hole online is LinkedIn.
Yes, mostly LinkedIn. That's. I'm starting to blog, so I'm starting to write about my experiences.
That's a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been always busy with a lot of things, and it's
like always something. Always something
that yes. So that was something that I wanted to do. So I'm started to blog more.
Good.
So yeah.
I love to hear that when people are blogging again. That's a good thing. So, well, Federico, thank you so much for being on the show, and we'll see everyone next time.
Thank you very much for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. That was a great show. If you're enjoying Entrepreneurs Enigma, please review us in the podcast directory of your choice. Every review helps other podcast listeners find our show. If you're looking for other podcasts in the marketing space, look no further than the Marketing Podcast Network at marketingpodcasts.net. Goldstein Media hopes you have enjoyed this episode. This podcast is one of the many great shows on the MPN Marketing Podcast Network.
You may know you're listening to this show along the Marketing Podcast Network, but did you know there are other great shows on MPN to help your business? Colin Jeffries and Eric Reed host a great podcast called the Rethink Marketing Podcast. Colin, tell us what these fine folks will get out of listening.
Well, Jason, on the Rethink Marketing Podcast, we unpack the myths, misconceptions, and flat-out lies of marketing and sales. Our listeners tell us that we help bring different perspectives to common business growth, wisdom, and advice.
That's great. Where can people subscribe?
They can subscribe at rethinkmarketingpodcast.com or listen on their favorite podcast platform, including marketingpodcasts.net.
You heard him. Go subscribe. This podcast is heard along the Marketing Podcast Network. For more great marketing podcasts, visit marketingpodcasts.net.